What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Nate. I want to say thank you guys for returning, and this video primarily is going to be on one of my fellow subscribers. Thank you so much, ExactTube2889. Left a comment on one of my videos the other day I want to talk about in this video. I mentioned something, and I said that sometimes you don't realize what faith is until faith is all you have. And he commented, or she commented, saying that that was a really good comment, and it stuck with me. Not because of the comment I made, but because of the meaning behind that comment. And I want to expound on that a little bit today, guys, because it's true. Sometimes you don't realize what faith is until it's all you have. You see, a lot of times we're trying to say, hey, have faith. Hey, just have faith, just hold on, just wait a little bit longer. Or faith is, I have faith, I believe in God, I believe in this idea, right? I believe in these things, therefore I have faith. Guys, that couldn't be further from the truth. I think that encompasses a little bit of what faith is, but let's be real, guys, faith is something that's much more than that. Faith is something that you cannot completely wrap your minds around. Faith is something that you don't really understand until it's the only thing that makes sense. And guys, what I mean by that is sometimes we're gonna have these things in our life that we cannot overcome, that we cannot change, that we cannot get out of. It's going, life or circumstances, whatever you want to call it, is going to beat us down into the dirt. We're going to have mental issues, right? A lot of people don't take mental issues very seriously. They think it's just some hyped up excuse that people make, but mental issues are real, guys, and they're becoming more prevalent for a variety of reasons, but a lot of it is because we have gone off, done our own thing in life, and we're confused, right? A lot of times people are just confused and they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. They don't know what's true. They don't know how to keep going. And so they start to lose their mind a little bit, right? Things happen to them. They don't have anything. They don't have any hope, right? And so they keep trying these things to ease the pain, to numb themselves, whether that's drugs or whether that's, you could fill in the blank, just distractions, things to numb themselves. And faith is something that overcomes all of this, guys. Faith is something that overcomes the darkest times. Faith, when we talk about those Bible verses, like, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, right? I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. We talk about these verses and we're like, yeah, like when we're feeling real courageous, when we're feeling like we can take on the world. But those verses were meant for something deeper. What happens when you are actually in that valley? What happens when you are in the valley of the shadow of death? When you are surrounded by darkness and you don't know up from down, left from right, you don't know what is going on. You don't know what's going to happen next. Guys, I've been there. I've been there in those situations where I didn't know if I was going to make it to the next day, where I didn't want to live till the next day, where I didn't have any hope, where I had just buried myself a hole and I didn't know how to get out of it, where I had kept trying things my own way with my own methods. I had hurt myself, hurt other people, burned bridges, became really a waste of space in many ways, right? Chased my own pleasure, chased what brought me satisfaction. It was all about me, right? It was all about what I was going through, what I was suffering through, right? We become very selfish, very prideful. And then that leads us oftentimes into those valleys, right? A lot of times we think these things happen out of nowhere. Sometimes they do, but a lot of times we walk into them. And sometimes they're just part of the journey, but either way, faith is going to carry us through. And God will bring you, if you are a chosen one of God, if you are actually one of God's children, if he has called you out of darkness into light, if he has called you on the journey that he has before you, he's going to show you what faith is, right? He gave faith to Abraham. Abraham, honestly, guys, if you look at the Old Testament, I believe it's Genesis, when it talks about Abraham, he was a very wealthy, successful dude, had pretty much everything he ever wanted, had livestock, had animals, had food, had wine, had everything. He was older in age, right? Just chilling out, and God called him out of nowhere, right? And Abraham had the faith, right? God granted him the ability to have the faith to respond. And Abraham said yes, and he followed God, right? And we see this throughout the Old Testament. We see this in the New Testament, right? We see these stories. And a lot of times people just chalk them up to just stories or historical biographies, right? It's more than that. It's a testament of faith. It shows what happens. In the New Testament, it says over and over, by faith. Jesus said, by faith you've been healed. Your faith has made you well. New Testament talks about by faith Abraham, right? By faith the old prophets. There's this theme of faith, right? By grace through faith. So think on these things. Think of faith. Think of it as best way I know how to describe it, guys, is the story. It touches my heart every time I read it, or every time I think about it. The story about the woman who had, she had a discharge of blood for many years, right? Very sickly, I can imagine she was very anemic, very weak. She heard Jesus was coming through, and she said to herself that if I just touch his robe, if I just hold on to his robe, if I just run after and hold on, then I'll be healed. Then things will be better. As soon as she grabbed onto Jesus' cloak, she was healed, and Jesus felt that power go from him. And he called out to the woman, and he said, your faith has made you well. So have faith, guys. A lot of times God's trying to get us to that point because we have our faith in other things. We have our faith in life. We have our faith in money, in our abilities, in what we can do and what we can say, and in what we can make happen, right? It's all about make it happen, grind. Guys, that's not the end goal. The end goal is to bring the kingdom of righteousness to earth. The end goal is to make sure that God's kingdom, that God's gospel, that his glory, that his saving grace, that his message of hope goes out to all people. And when people see you have faith, when people see you go through the storms, when people see you go through the rough times, when they see you go through the valleys of the shadow of death, and all you have is faith, when you have a testimony that actually can speak to God and be like, it's only by his grace. He gave me the faith to endure. A lot of times as Christians, as believers, as chosen ones of God, we don't talk about faith a whole lot. Again, we just talk about it from this, yeah, I have faith. Yeah, I believe in God. Sure, I have faith. Sure, I have the ability to understand and to believe. It goes deeper than that, guys. It goes way deeper than that. Think about the disciples when they were on the boat and the storm came and Jesus was asleep. And they're freaking out because of the storm. And they've seen Jesus do all these miracles and heal all these people and do all these things, cast out demons. And they're on the boat and they're freaking out. And Jesus is asleep because he knows it's okay. And instead of waking him up and going, Lord, Lord, we have faith in you. Please rebuke the storm. We know you have the power to. They wake him up and said, Lord, we're perishing. Help us. Help us, please. We're dying. We don't know what to do. And Jesus is like, you of little faith. And he constantly says this throughout his time on the earth. He constantly calls out people's faith. Faith, guys, it's a big deal. Faith isn't of yourself. If you have faith, it's from God. By grace, through faith, right? And that faith of God, think of the faith of Jesus, right? To endure until the very end, right? Think of the faith that we have. That's why Jesus says, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. So have that faith, guys. Have that faith. If it seems like you can't, it seems like nothing's happening, have a little bit more faith. Hold on a little tighter. Run after Jesus a little bit faster, guys. Have that full faith. And eventually you'll be at a point, Lord willing, where every circumstance in life, you understand that He is the way, the truth, and the life, and you'll have the faith to endure no matter what happens. So guys, I hope this video has been an encouragement to you today. If so, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and Lord willing, I'll see you on the next one.